Admiral Impeach's Iron Fist pasta sauce. The sauce that conquers continents. You ever eat a bowl of rigatoni and think, this could use more global domination? Well, now you can, with Admiral Impeach's Iron Fist pasta sauce, made from real tomatoes grown in embargo zones and simmered down with top-secret military spices. One bite? Boom, you'll be planning invasions from your kitchen table. Features. Explosive flavor, detonates on your tongue like a 50-megaton meatball. Classified ingredients. Even the FDA ain't cleared to know what's in it. Battle-tested recipe, perfected on submarines, backrooms, and meetings that never made the papers. Mikey the Hammer. I put this sauce on my steak once. The steak tapped out. Nick Palermo. I spilled a jar on my shirt and 3 guys declared me their capo. Lopez. Legally, I gotta say don't buy it. But unofficially, best damn sauce I ever used to bribe a judge. Special offer. Order 2 jars today and get a complimentary ceasefire breadsticks. They'll stop any argument in its tracks. Admiral Impeach's Iron Fist pasta sauce. This ain't Nonna's recipe, unless Nonna ran Black Ops.
Mugs, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
Bambi's Twisted Tales. Bloody Mary. A tale of fear and reflection. They called her Mary Belladonna before the mirrors ever got involved. Belladonna, deadly nightshade, pretty to look at, bad idea to swallow. She came from a line of women who didn't bow, just nodded like queens when the world remembered its place. In the old country, her nonna made cures from leaves and curses from looks. Folks came for medicine in the front door and left their sins at the back. When the family crossed water to the New World, they packed exactly 3 things: a kettle, a rosary, and a reputation you couldn't scrub off with lie. Mary grew up in the canals of a crooked little town where mist hugged the streets like a debt, and secrets were currency. She learned quick. Men who smile too wide always want the most, and favors are just bills with lipstick. By 15, she was running deliveries for her ma's backroom apothecary. Tonics that calmed nerves, powders that gave 'em new ones, little bottles that fixed problems the church liked to pretend it didn't cause. Folks whispered witch, Mary called it work. One night a boy went missing, then a second, then a girl. The town needed a monster fast, somebody to feed to the fear so the mayor could go back to bonfires and speeches. And since Mary's window stayed lit late and she kept odd hours with odd customers, the fingers all crooked her way. That's how it goes. Truth is expensive. Scapegoats are 2 for 1. They dragged Mary from her shop at dawn, saints on their lips and stones in their hands. The priest said, "Trial." The crowd said, "Now." They asked where the children were. She said she didn't know. They said, "Liar." She said, "Prove it." Wrong answer for a mob that came to see smoke. By noon she was chained in the old abbey's nave, iron-cutting skin, the crucifix above her looking down like it had other appointments. The constable leaned in with breath that could stain glass and asked for a confession. Mary gave him a smile so sharp it needed a sheath. "I confess," she said, "you're all cowards." When the fire took her, it wasn't clean. She burned slow, the way gossip does, curling at the edges, blackening in the middle and stinking up the neighborhood so bad, even the wind looked offended. Folks watched because that's what folks do when cruelty gets a stage and tickets are free. The priest mumbled a Latin lullaby while the mayor practiced his grief for the papers. Mary didn't scream, not once. Her eyes went silver, mercury almost. Before the flames got to her tongue, she pitched her voice past the smoke and made an oath that stuck to the rafters like soot. "You want a monster?" she said. "You want someone to blame when your sins come back with teeth? Fine, I'll be your monster." She drew blood, biting her own lip, spat it in a circle, and named the circle glass. "You'll call my name," she promised, "and the mirror will answer. Every coward needs a reflection." That should have been the end, but the thing with ends is, sometimes they're doorways with better lighting. Years pass. The town forgets like towns do, on purpose. New mayor, repainted abbey, fresh scandals. The missing kids. Turned out a traveling tinker had a wagon with hidden floorboards and a taste for helpless. He died in a ditch no one mourned, and the priest performed an absolution on the cheap. Funny how apologies arrive after the executioner goes home. Mary got a new name. Bloody Mary, a bedtime threat you tell brats who won't brush their teeth. Say her name 3 times in front of a mirror, and she'll show up with a face like bad weather. The story trimmed itself over the years, sanded down by nervous laughter and flashlights in bathrooms, but the bones stayed. Mary is who you see when you come looking for whatever you don't want to admit lives in you. We jump to now, cheap apartments stacked like teeth, phone screens blue as morgue light, and not a lot of folks remembering how to be afraid of the right things. You got 3 kids in a crummy kitchen, tiles cracked like knuckles, whispering over an app that dares you to be stupid. The ringleader's name is Gia. Thick eyeliner, thicker attitude, the kind of girl who can pick a lock with a shoelace and a promise. Her boys are Nico, loud for practice, and Eddie, quiet in the way broken things go quiet. Gia's got the urban legend page open. She reads aloud like she's auditioning. Turn off the lights, light a candle, stare into the mirror, say her name 3 times. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. She adds a ya fee under her breath because nervous kids cosplay as tough. Nico plays it up, swears he ain't scared. Eddie rubs a scar on his wrist like it's braille for danger. They kill the lights. The candle's a birthday stub that smells like vanilla and regret. The mirror over the sink shows 3 kids pretending they have less to lose than they do. Gia says it once, Bloody Mary, and the air tightens like a belt. She says it twice, and the wax weeps. She says it the 3rd time, and the flame tilts. Not from wind, but from attention. At first, nothing. Then the glass forgets how to be glass. Their faces smear, colors slipping like oil, eyes too bright, teeth too eager. The kind of grin you don't make on purpose. Behind them, the kitchen stretches into midnight and keeps going. A shape walks out of the long dark, as if the dark is a hallway and not a fact. White dress, dirty hem, hair black as a secret. The candle flame flinches toward her like a dog that remembers the hand that used to feed it. Gia's mouth goes dry. Nico whispers a prayer out of habit and mispronunciation. Eddie doesn't breathe because he's saving the air for later. Mary smiles, not for comfort, for inventory. She doesn't look like a corpse. She looks like the idea that made the corpse necessary. Her eyes are mirrors. You don't see into them. You see out of yourself. She takes in the kids the way an auditor takes in a ledger, columns of debt that pretend they aren't read. "Who calls me?" she asks, and it's not a voice so much as a verdict. "And why?" Gia squares up because that's her brand. "Just a dare," she says. "No disrespect." Which is funny because disrespect is the only currency teenagers carry. Dares, Mary says, are wishes that don't want to sign their names. She angles her head at Eddie first. You cut to feel alive. She says it like weather. Stop pretending it's poetry. Eddie's eyes shine, and he hates that she can make him shine. Nico steps forward because loyal idiots do. Back off, lady. And Mary looks through him and finds the kitchen of his childhood, the belt, the boots, the old bruise still taking attendance in the mirror. She doesn't weaponize it, she just lets him hear it out loud. You yell to feel bigger. Men who hit you taught you that volume is muscle. It ain't. Gia swallows rage like a pill. We didn't ask for therapy, lady. No, Mary says. You asked for me, and me is a mirror that answers back. They could blow the candle then, and maybe she'd slip. But kids in pain have a stubbornness that looks a lot like faith from a distance. Gia sets her jaw. What do you want? Mary grins, small and expensive. A trade. Always a trade. She points at the mirror. You say my name like it's a trick, but names are rent. You want me to show? Pay me. Gia tries the obvious. We ain't got cash. I don't take cash, Mary says. I take truth. She touches the glass with a finger like a needle, and the kitchen floods with pictures that don't like light. Eddie's bathroom, Nico's father's knuckles, Gia's mother's boyfriend bending rules and shadows. The candle sputters and burns brighter, panicked fire. Bring me the man who hurt your friend, Mary says, eyes on Gia. Name him in the mirror, and I'll finish what you can't, or won't. Supreme's Gold Dust Cannoli Crunch. Sweet, loud, and impossible to ignore. When regular dessert just ain't supreme enough, you reach for Supreme's Gold Dust Cannoli Crunch. Crunch louder than your enemies, shine brighter than your jewelry, and taste sweeter than your last score. Features. Drip certified cannoli cream so smooth, it makes Gucci look like Goodwill. Crunch factor. Pastry shell cracking louder than a 38 on Mulberry Street. Edible bling dusted with real gold flakes, 'cause Supreme don't roll basic. Christians in telly. I bit into one, and a DJ showed up out of nowhere. Mikey the Hammer. Too sweet for me, but hey, the box doubles as a weapon. Lopez. I can't admit this under oath, but yeah, best damn cannoli I ever seized. Special offer? Order a dozen today, and Supreme throws in his signature drip napkin, keeps your hands clean while you flex. Supreme's Gold Dust Cannoli Crunch, dessert so fresh it comes with an entourage. This is where you want a grown-up to enter, right? Somebody to turn on the lights, slap the phone out their hands, and do that whole there routine. But grown-ups are either working, sleeping, or the problem. So the kids do what kids do. They improvise. 2 nights later, they're outside Sal's tap, which isn't a tap and barely a bar, just a rectangular room that smells like Bleach's hangover. The man they came for, let's call him Rick, because he thinks Ricardo makes him sound like a gentleman, drinks there. He taught Gia early that gentlemen are a costume. You wear 'em when the cops come. He's got a neck tattoo of a snake he earned by being exactly the kind of man who'd get a snake tattoo on his neck. Gia's hands shake like a bad tambourine. Nico wants to break every bone in Rick's face, but only knows how to break his own. Eddie stands small and fierce, which is the worst combination. It makes you brave where you should be careful. The plan is stupid. Stupid plans are the only ones that fit in pockets. They wait till Rick stumbles out to smoke. They taunt him into the alley with a cheap line about money he's owed. He follows because men like him always follow a chance to collect or hurt. The alley is wet cobbles and one bad light. The mirror they brought is an old bar-back panel they lifted off a loading dock, heavy as sin. They prop it against the wall like they're about to sell him jewelry. "You kidding me?" Rick says. "What is this, a circus?" "Say hello," Gia says, and forces her voice to climb out of her throat instead of fall back in. Mary is already there, of course. Mirrors are doors with stage fright. She stands in the reflection like the alley is a parlor, hands folded, patience weaponized. The snake on Rick's neck looks braver in glass than in person. Mary tilts her head at it like a waitress taking an order she plans to spit in. "Who the f—" Rick begins, and Mary interrupts softly, the way a scalpel interrupts skin. "Say my name." He laughs. The laugh's got tobacco flavor and somebody else's fear. "No." "Then I'll say yours," Mary replies, and she does. Full government name, confirmation saint, the name his mother used the last time she asked him to leave, and meant it. The mirror fogs like a mouth. "Kneel," she tells him. He does not kneel. Of course not. He steps forward to smash the glass because men like him smash what doesn't tell them they're tall. His fist meets not glass but water disguised as iron. The mirror ripples, then stiffens and swallows to the wrist. He yanks back. The mirror yanks harder. He is stuck. He makes a sound that isn't a word and is too honest to be a lie. Mary leans close to the other side, and the kids see themselves reflected in her eyes. Little, guilty, hopeful, mean. "This part is ugly," she says calmly. "Close your eyes if you want to lie about who asked for it." They don't close their eyes. That's the problem. They watch as the mirror decides bones are misprints and edits. Rick's arm lengthens the wrong way, then shortens, then disappears. The snake on his neck slithers once. Pure reflex, poor bastard. Then goes still because paper tattoos don't survive water. He screams names like spells that never worked. His own, his father's, God's. The mirror doesn't care. It only keeps what it's owed. When it spits him back, it's just what a man becomes without the parts that let him touch or hurt. He collapses, breathing shallow, sobbing like a childhood he never got. Mary steps forward in the reflection and sets her palm against the glass, tender as a nurse setting a sheet. "Payment received," she says. "Tip optional." Gia turns away and pukes up bile and bravado. Nico shakes, then laughs, then cries, then hates that anyone can see. Eddie looks taller, not in inches, in intent. Mary's eyes find Gia's. "You want more," she says. "You think this will fix you. It won't. It'll turn you." "I want him to stop," Gia whispers, meaning all the hymns. "Then learn to stop them," Mary replies. "No mirror, no ghost, you." Her smile this time is almost kind. "I'm the story you tell to get brave, but brave costs." The kids drag Rick to the ER and drop him like a bad habit. They don't explain. Nobody's listening anyway. Back home, they stash the bar-back mirror in Gia's basement behind boxes labeled Christmas. Mary stays quiet unless called, which is considerate in a monster and rare in a friend. Word gets around without words. Gia finds she walks different. Space opens ahead of her like the crowd thinks she's the bouncer. Nico stops laughing first. Later, he laughs better. Eddie joins a gym with a crappy name and learns that sweat can be a prayer if you do it right. Rick moves 2 towns over and writes long posts online about being a changed man. He is not, but distance is a mercy. As for Mary, what, you thought she goes back to sleep? That's not how mirrors work. Old places hold shine. The abbey where they cooked her got rebuilt into condos with stainless appliances and terrible acoustics. In the model unit bathroom, a realtor says, "Open concept," into a mirror and gets, "Open casket," whispered back. She blames the AC. Across town, a girl named Sam lights a candle and asks for her mother's cancer to move out, like a rude roommate. Mary shows, not because she owes favors, but because some prayers are a shape even rage can respect. "Say his name instead," Mary tells her, and gives her the doctor who cut corners, the administrator who cut budgets, the board that cut throats with spreadsheets. Aim your pain where it stands, not where it kneels. Mary is not kind. Mary is not evil. Mary is customer service for a cosmos that doesn't pick up the phone. You call, she answers, a bill arrives. And yeah, sometimes a pack of morons says her name 3 times between vodkas and gets dragged half through the sink until they apologize to the building for making it ugly. Sometimes a kid who's drowning comes up for air because he sees himself in her eyes and hates that he looks like the man who hit him. Sometimes a priest closes his eyes in front of an old mirror and thanks her for scaring boys straight when his sermons didn't. The legend grows teeth and pearl earrings, t-shirts, podcasts, an indie flick with too much smoke and not enough soul. People say Mary was a witch. People say Mary was a queen. People say Mary was a demon, which always means woman I owe an apology to, but refuse to give it. The mirror doesn't care what you call it. It cares what you bring to it. One night, Gia goes back alone. No candle, just the basement light that turns skin the color of cheap paper. She stares at her face until it blurs and says the name once, twice, 3 times. Mary arrives softer than sleep. "You're still here," she says, which is both greeting and congratulations. Gia asks the question grown-ups forget to ask themselves. How do I stop needing you? Mary thinks about it the way storms think about roofs. "You don't," she says. "You outgrow me. Different thing. You learn to be the mirror that talks back. For the girl in your hallway, the boy in your class, yourself." "So, be you," Gia mutters, "minus the fire." Mary grins like a match. "Minus the fire, plus the boundaries." She reaches out, presses one finger to the glass, and leaves a print that isn't there when Gia looks again. "Tell the truth faster," she adds, and is gone. This is the part where the narrator, yours truly, pulls the camera back and wraps it in a bow. But bows are for gifts, and stories like this are invoices. Moral. Pay attention. Monsters ain't born, they're mailed, addressed wrong, sent sealed. You stamp enough fear on a woman and act shocked when she comes back with tracking. That's on you. Mirrors don't make ghosts. Mirrors make you visible. And Bloody Mary, she ain't your party trick. She's the accountant of your cowardice and the union rep for every girl nobody believed. Tired of your gomar ratting you out to the feds? Sick of your capo sweating you over that missing envelope? Or maybe you just need to sleep through a sit-down like it's a spa day in Sicily. Introducing Gonezo, the only sleeping pill approved by 3 out of 5 mob doctors and 1 very tired consigliere. 1 pill and bam, like you got hit with a blackjack behind Rocco's. But you wake up fresh, no bruises, no wiretaps, and no regrets. Real customer testimony. I took Gonezo before my arraignment. Woke up in Tijuana with a new name and a suitcase full of counterfeit 20s, 5 stars. Gino the Fork Abatacola. Now with our patented forget about it formula, Gonezo erases shame, guilt, and 3 to 5 hours of your last regrettable night at the Velvet Lounge. Warning, Side effects may include sudden urges to flee the country, thinking you're bulletproof, marrying your Gumar's cousin during a blackout in Atlantic City. Ask your bookie if Gonezo is right for you, or don't. He's probably already on it. Gonezo, sleep like you ain't got priors. Brooklyn Bloodlines Season 2 coming soon. So here's how you play it smart, paisan. You want to keep Mary out of your bathroom? Live in a way that doesn't need her. Believe the kid the first time. Walk the friend home. Learn your neighbors' names. Keep a spare knife in the drawer, but try to need it less. And when the mirror offers you an apology, you owe someone else. Go deliver it like it's hot pizza, and the tip decides whether you eat. If, however, you do call her, if you've got a name that needs saying and your voice shakes too hard to say it, light the candle, square your shoulders, pay up in truth, and don't flinch when the glass bites back. You asked for the monster. Be ready when she's exactly as fair as you feared. Moral, Bambi's version. Don't glamorize the ghost. Respect the bill. Bloody Mary ain't a prank. She's the reflection you earned. Say the names of the real monsters before you need the mirror. And if you need it anyway, fine. But be ready to pay in truth, not bullshit. Fear keeps you alert. Courage pays the tab. You want more fairy tales told like street legends? No glitter, all grit? Then you roll with Bambi and the Pizzaverse. We call out the creeps, roast the clowns, and put a spotlight on the demons folks pretend ain't there. Subscribe, smash the bell, share it to your crew, and remember, in the Pizzaverse, we don't miss.